What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here. I have just a little more Destiny beta gameplay I wanted to share with you. I also wanted to talk about my overall impressions of the beta, as well as what I kind of expect, what I'm hoping for about the full retail release of Destiny, as well as some of my fears. So I want to talk about the campaign first. It was nice in the beta to get a little taste of the story. We really didn't get much of that at all in the alpha. In fact, some of the stuff that was in the alpha got pulled out in the beta, some of the voiceover work. And I like what I've seen so far. I don't love it, though. It's not as awesome as like the first time I started playing Halo and really got immersed into that storyline. But I think there's still room to grow. You know, we haven't seen the full retail release, obviously. This was a beta. I'm sure they're still holding stuff back. But I would like to see a little more in-depth version of the opening characters, or your character's kind of role in this world. You know, who was he before he was kind of revived by your ghost? That kind of thing. Really get you involved in the story. Now, I do like what I've seen so far, you know, with the tower and with the darkness. I think that the darkness, sure, it's kind of this amorphous, like, blackness of doom, but I like kind of the characters or the races that they have representing the evil darkness. You know, the Hive, the Awoken, stuff like that. I think it's a lot of fun. It's nice to have a bunch of different character types too, because it helps break up the missions. Something that Bungie has always done well is they've done enemy AI very well. Ever since I first played Halo, I was absolutely impressed by how difficult it was to actually fight the enemy AI. And I think they brought that know-how with them into Destiny, and that was a lot of fun because every encounter seemed a little bit different. You had to use different strategies, you had to use different weapons, and I like that, you know, and I hope that continues. I hope with the full game release, especially once we start powering up our weapons, that we'll run into enemies that really need a lot of strategy. So even if you're playing with a full fire team with a couple of your friends, that you still have to use quite a bit of strategy. Maybe concentrate all your fire on one guy. Maybe one guy has to use a fusion rifle to take down the shields of a big boss, and another guy has to be using an assault rifle to ballistically take down his health. You know, stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do once the characters are more powerful. I'm also really looking forward to exploring the world of Destiny, and there were some rumors floating around this weekend that the Earth map, the map around the Cosmodrome that we saw in the beta, was going to be the only playable area on Earth, which was concerning because there wasn't much to it. Now, there's plenty of more room on that Earth map for different strike missions and other missions that you can explore, but that main map was pretty well explored. You know, it had the explore mode. A lot of people kind of saw as much to see of that as they ever want to in the beta. And it's a little concerning to me that that's all of Earth that we're going to get. One of the more interesting things about Destiny for me is kind of finding out more about the story of the first attack, how the Traveler came, we had this golden age on Earth, and then there was this apocalypse. And I'd really like to see other parts of the planet and how they were affected by this apocalypse. Maybe San Francisco or Africa or Europe or, you know, anything like that. Anything besides just that little Cosmodrome area of Russia. So that is a little concerning. It is a rumor. You know, I don't know how to take that at this point, but we have explored a lot of that Cosmodrome area at this point. Now, there's plenty of more room on that map for more missions, but that map is the map that we saw in the beta. Now, there were parts that were blocked off, you know. There were parts with super powerful enemies that you really couldn't get past. You could try and run through them, and you had limited success with that. But, you know, so even though there are parts in that Cosmodrome that still remain unexplored, maybe some of those dark doors will be opened up in the full game. I would definitely love to see more areas to explore, because I think this game is going to live and die based on the content that's in the game. And, you know, we know that there's going to be plenty of DLC content for the game. They're already advertising 2 DLC packs that you get if you pre-order the game or if you buy the special editions of the game. However, if there's not enough available right from the get-go, that's going to turn a lot of players off. You know, I just spent $60 for this game, or $80 for like a special edition, and I played it for 20 hours, and that's all? That's it? That's everything I get? That could be very bad for Destiny. So hopefully there will be a ton of content to explore. And I also hope that they kind of have you jumping around a little bit. I hope they don't just have you doing one mission after another in the Cosmodrome, and then you go to the moon and you do all the missions on the moon, and then you go to, say, Mars and do all the missions on the Mars. I hope that they keep you jumping around a little bit to keep each of those areas a little bit fresher, so that you don't just kind of learn everything there is to know about this one area or this one big map and then just move on to the next. I did like the multiplayer an awful lot. The Crucible was a lot of fun. I do like how you can bring your weapons that you find in the single player or the campaign mode and bring those into the Crucible. I think that's a lot of fun. It really creates a motivation for finding awesome weapons. It's for really exploring while you're doing the campaign. That's not something I'll necessarily do in every game. You really have to motivate me to do it. You have to give me a big carrot on the stick to go out and find stuff. If I'm doing just fine in the multiplayer, I really have no reason to, go out and find new weapons. In most games, you don't even have that option. Like Call of Duty, the only way you can get better at the multiplayer is by playing more multiplayer. I think it's a really interesting change to be able to play the single player and bring all that stuff with you into the multiplayer. However, I think they have to balance some of this stuff, The main mode that they had unlocked it disables all the level advantages, and I think that they're going to have to do something with, putting a mode in the game where everybody basically, you might have a shotgun that looks different than everybody else's shotgun, but for the most part, it just remains the same. I think that'd be really important to, making the game really a fair and level playing field and a lot more fun. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the fact that on certain events, you could actually bring in your fully leveled up character and your fully leveled up guns and just use those as are against everybody else's. I think that is a really fun way to play too, especially once people start to be able to customize builds as they progress. Once everybody's kind of getting near that level cap and you've made choices about how your character plays, which ways you've upgraded them, which guns you've really selected, and how you've upgraded those guns. I think that's going to be really interesting to get all those players together in one Crucible match and have a blast. I think you're going to really see some crazy stuff in there too. I am disappointed that the game runs at 30 frames per second. I think that pretty much precludes it from any kind of competitive play. I really like watching competitive play in shooters, not only because you get to see kind of the best play a game and really exploit the systems inside the game, but you also get to learn a lot about the game that you really love. I wouldn't be nearly as good at Call of Duty if I didn't watch competitive to really watch their strategies, how they move around the map and the way they use weapons. I think that's really valuable, and it always makes me sad when a competitive scene for a game that I really love doesn't seem to really exist, and I don't think there's going to be one for Destiny. I do think there's some balancing issues that need to happen in Destiny. I did find that some of the weapons are intrinsically overpowered. I think the shotgun, the range on it is just a little too high. I don't mind it being a one-shot kill, but they just need to pull back on the range because I thought the range was just a little too strong for the shotguns. The fusion rifle, I don't know how to fix the fusion rifle, but it definitely seems to be overpowered. It seems to be a one-shot kill from a lot of different ranges, and it's very easy to kind of keep charged up by just kind of triggering it, like kind of as it's about to fire, just release the trigger and start powering it up again. You can almost have that thing ready to shoot on command, and it makes it a very, very powerful gun. I think a little overpowered in my opinion. Also, the Titan abilities, or I'm sorry, the Guardian abilities, I think are a little overpowered. I wouldn't mind seeing a game mode in the Crucible that just disables those. It really makes it a gun-on-gun challenge. I think that would be a lot of fun. So there's a lot of stuff that I really love in Destiny. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to see fixed and I'm a little unsure of still in Destiny. So we'll have to wait at this point. We still have a long time to wait for the game to come out. I believe it's coming out on September 11th. I'm not actually positive about that date, but I think it's September 11th. So we've got all of August and the beginning of September to wait. And Destiny's got a lot of time. Bungie's got a lot of time to kind of, balance things, use the stuff that they learned during the beta. They had 4.5 million players playing the beta. So they have plenty of time and they have plenty of data to kind of tweak a little bit of stuff. I don't don't know about content. You know, the content train is probably rolled as far as the release goes, what's going to be available right when the game comes out, but they are talking about DLC. DLC could come up huge. What if they release one big map per DLC per month? And charge like $10 for it. Would you be happy with that? What if they do one big map and charge $30 for it once every 3 months? Who knows? You know, all these things are really up in the air. I do know that I'm really excited for this game. I've really got a lot of love in my heart, actually, for this game so far because I've had so much fun playing it. It really seems to scratch an itch for me that I'm having a great time with. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.